You've met people who were completely certain they were right about everything and completely wrong. You've probably been that person once. There's a psychological reason for it, and it's darker than you think. School taught you that people are mostly rational, that good people do the right thing, that confidence comes from confidence, that when something goes wrong, you can usually figure out why. None of that is entirely false, but it isn't the whole picture either, and the gap between what you were told and what's actually running inside you is worth examining.
Fact 1. The bystander effect. In 1964, a woman named Kitty Genovese was attacked outside her apartment in New York. Dozens of people reportedly heard what was happening. Not one intervened in time. For years, it was used as proof that people had become selfish, cold, urban. That reading was wrong. What actually happened is now called the bystander effect. The more people present during an emergency, the less likely any single person is to act. Not because they're cruel, because each person assumes someone else has already taken responsibility. Psychologists call this diffusion of responsibility. It doesn't require selfishness, it just requires a crowd. You felt this, the meeting where something wrong gets said and the room goes quiet. The comment thread where something harmful sits there, unaddressed, with thousands of views. You assumed someone else would handle it. So did everyone else. That's not cowardice. That's a predictable feature of how human groups respond to shared responsibility. Knowing it exists is the first step to overriding it. Fact 2. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Here's the second one, and it's the uncomfortable one. In 1999, two psychologists named Dunning and Kruger published a finding that changed how we understand confidence. People with the least knowledge in a field tend to feel the most certain about it, and the more you actually learn, the less certain you become. Think about the last time you started something new. At the beginning, it felt manageable. You had a framework. You didn't know what you didn't know. Then, the deeper you went, the more the complexity opened up. Suddenly, the people who seem the most confident are the ones who haven't gone deep enough to know what's missing. This is why the most dangerous voice in any room isn't ignorance, it's partial knowledge paired with full certainty. You've met this person. You may have been this person. Most people have. Doubt isn't weakness. It's evidence that you're actually learning something real. Fact number 3. Cognitive dissonance. Leon Festinger identified a pattern in the 1950s that explains more about human behavior than almost anything else you'll learn. He called it cognitive dissonance. It works like this. When your actions conflict with your values, your brain doesn't fix the action, it rewrites the value. You've done this. You stayed in something longer than you should have and eventually told yourself it was actually fine. You reframed the choice to fit the story you needed to believe about yourself. Not because you're weak, because your brain treats internal consistency as a survival need. Contradiction is uncomfortable. False resolution feels like relief. Here's the part that deserves more attention. The stories you tell yourself about why you did something are often constructed after the fact. Your brain decides first, then it assigns a reason. That reason feels real because you made it, but it's frequently a justification, not an explanation. Fact number 4. The fundamental attribution error. When someone cuts you off in traffic, your first instinct is a judgment about who they are. Careless, inconsiderate. When you cut someone off, you had a reason. You were late. You didn't see them. The situation explains your behavior. Their character explains theirs. Psychologists call this the fundamental attribution error. You applied different standards to yourself than to others automatically, without awareness. It runs underneath every argument you've had about fairness, every time you felt misunderstood, every time you were sure the other person just didn't get it. The reframe isn't that you're irrational.
The reframe is that everyone is doing this simultaneously, including the person you're frustrated with right now. These aren't things that happen to other people. They're patterns running inside all of us, quietly, continuously, beneath the level of conscious thought. School gave you tools to navigate the world outside you. These are tools for the world inside you, and that world shapes everything else. If one of these felt uncomfortably familiar, drop a comment. Sometimes just naming the pattern is the beginning of something different.